I was just finishing my 8th year in the Marine Corps. I am Captain Tim Jones, 30 years old, married to a beautiful 22-year-old strawberry blonde. I met her 2 years ago while on leave in my hometown. It was love at first sight for both of us, but we waited until 6 months ago to get married. I wanted to get out of the Marine Corps first, but I gave in to her urging and begging and married her with 6 months left in the Corps. I gave up a promising but dangerous career in the Corps for love. Looking back, it was a mistake. Everything went well. I was cruising towards my departure date when this blip in my plans came up. I was teaching a course at the infantry school when they decided to send me to Africa for 3 months to train another nation's Marines. In 20 years, they would become our enemy and America's sons would be fighting against the same people I taught. Politicians. I hate them. I kissed her goodbye and said I would be back before Christmas. It was September, and true to my word, I was back the first week of December. I took leave over Christmas and New Year. We went home and found a condo close to where I hoped to be working. Everything was fine. My life was perfect. I had a good wife. I was promised a job in a profession I had studied for in college. Yup, I was going to live the dream. Then there was another blip. I had checked out of the Marines the day before and was at the house we had rented. I was watching as the movers packed and loaded our things into the moving van. In the bedroom, I watched as the movers tore apart the bed. Nan, short for Nancy, my wife is in the kitchen watching some men pack things there. After they hauled the bed out to the truck, the guys came back to get the bedside tables. The guy picked the table up and started to carry it out. He looked at me, shook his head, and grinned. When I saw what he was grinning at, I was dumbstruck, to say the least. There on the floor were 10 dried-up used condoms. I was surprised. Why? Nan and I had never used condoms. She was on the pill. The men finished in the bedroom and started on the extra room. I shut the door and waited. When the truck was loaded and on its way to Memphis, I called Nan and opened the door to the bedroom. "I am not cleaning this up." She grabbed her mouth and started to cry. "No, oh God, no." She slumped to the floor. "Please understand. It was a one-time fling. You were gone. It just happened. I love you. I was lonely, and it meant nothing to me." "Looks like it was more than just a one-time thing. I count 10 here on the floor," I replied. More crying. From the perspective of Nan. I heard Tim start vacuuming the spare room, so I got up off the floor and found a plastic bag. Using it like a glove, I gathered the used condoms up off the floor and took them out to the trash. Tim was finished with the vacuum cleaner, so I used it to vacuum what was our bedroom. He stuck his head in and said he was leaving for the hotel and asked me to stop and pick up something for supper. That's a good sign. At least he is planning on us having supper together and staying in the same room tonight. I finished cleaning the house and locked the doors. I stopped and picked up some fast food, cheeseburgers, fries, and milkshakes. I got a text that room 135 was in the back of the motel and on the ground floor. The door was open and I was glad to see there was just one bed in the room, a king. Maybe I could work this out. I decided to make this partly his fault. Maybe with a little luck, I could get him to forgive me. I went in and set the table for supper. Not much was said. No hello, no kisses, nothing. As we were eating, he said, "Want to explain? I was so lonely when you left for Africa. I cried for 2 days. Finally, I pulled myself together and decided it would not be that long. Besides, you were not really in a war zone. You were teaching, like in a classroom. So I got it together and started planning our future together. One Friday morning, I decided to go to the grocery store. As I was driving, I remembered I needed gas. The car started bucking and stopped. I was out. I got out and opened the hood. There was no traffic, but soon a guy on a motorcycle stopped and asked what the problem was. I explained I was out of gas and he said to get on and he would take me to a gas station. I did, and it was exciting. I had never ridden on a motorcycle in my life. We borrowed a gas can from the station and returned to my car. I tried to pay him, but he refused. Then I asked if he would let me buy him lunch, and he agreed. We went to that Waffle House on Highway 98. We talked for about 2 hours. He was from San Francisco. He was taking a break from college, just riding around the country on his bike. He was half Irish and half Japanese. He had long black hair, and to be honest, he was very handsome. He was very intelligent and fun to be around. I made a mistake. I invited him to the house. Remember, I was so lonely. I thought you would never know. He spent the weekend. I made him use condoms even though I was on the pill. I did not want to take a chance of an STD of any kind. Monday morning, he got on his bike and left. I have never seen or talked to him since, I promise. And about the condoms, he always got up and went to the bathroom. I thought he flushed them. Why he dropped them behind that table, I will never know. Also, one more thing, that table was in the corner up against the wall and the bed, so I never moved it when I vacuumed. Please don't let this affect us. I love you. I was just lonely, and you were so far away. I missed you so much. I started crying. That worked. Tim got up and took me in his arms. We showered together and then laid on the bed. He made love to me 3 times that night. Then again in the morning before we left on that 12-hour drive to Memphis and the rest of our lives. He still loves me. Switching back to the perspective of Tim. Yes, I still love her. Trust. Never again. She fooled me completely for 3 months. And how much of that story is the truth and how much is left out? I decided that part of this is my fault. One of the reasons I did not want to marry until I was out of the Corps was the life of a Marine's wife is lonely. A Marine is deployed a lot. There are unaccompanied tours of duty, like to Okinawa with the 3rd Marine Division. Really hard on a marriage. So me leaving her for 3 months had been the cause? Okay, I'll buy that. Once. But from now on, I will watch her like a hawk. Let's skip ahead 3 years in this story. Everything is going great for us. I have made a small fortune in the commodity business, due to some clever business decisions. We are looking for a place outside of town on a few acres where we can start a family. No more problems with Nan. We are always together and she is very happy. When I have to travel to Chicago, she goes with me. I still do not trust her alone. The fact is, I do not trust her at all. Sorry, but once burned, twice shy. Once a cheater, always cheater. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And any other of those little sayings. They keep me alert. Nan calls and says she has found the perfect place for us. An old antebellum house with 6 bedrooms on 120 acres. The house is in need of some heavy repairs and restoration, but it is perfect, she says. I go look and I agree. It looks like the house in Gone with the Wind. With about $500,000, we can restore it to its original beauty. So that's what we decided to do. We bought the place and looked around and found a contractor who had experience in restoring old houses. He had great references, so we hired him. He moved to town and got an apartment about 30 minutes from the job site and started work. Nan said she needed an office at the site to oversee the work and handle all the subcontractors. She wanted to make sure everyone was paid and there were no problems. She bought a small trailer and had it moved to the property. She set it up about 300 yards from the main house and put it in a well and septic system. An electric line was installed along with a 500-gallon butane tank to provide heat during the winter months. We thought that when we moved in and started to have kids, this would be a place where the help could live. That was my idea anyway. After the trailer was set up and before any work started on the house, I took Nan to lunch and then out to a movie. While we were on our date, I had a technician from the spy shop here in town install hidden cameras in the trailer. They connected to a website that I could access any time and watch what was going on in the trailer. Remember, I love her, I just don't trust her. Everything went fine for the first 2 months. I watched the trailer and did not see anything out of the ordinary. Then one Wednesday afternoon, just after lunch, I logged on to see Nan and this contractor, Sam, looking over plans laid out on a table in the living room of the trailer. His hand went to her butt and squeezed. "When are you going to let me have some of that sweet body of yours again?" Again? What the hell? Well, if you promise not to leave a mark right now, she grabs him and kisses him on the mouth. When they break apart, he laughs and shouts, "I promise." Then he picks her up and carries her into one of the bedrooms. They are never used, but the beds have sheets on them. Now I know why. What the hell? This is not the first time? Where has she been sneaking off to and when? I guess it really doesn't matter. This is going to end soon. When they are finished, she takes the condom off and goes into the bathroom and flushes the condom. She remembers what happened the last time she left that task to a man. She comes back into the bedroom and starts to get dressed. He helps her with her bra, then says, "My guy is ready. You just say when." "I've told you I want to wait until this house is finished. You will be back in Boston and I will be buying furniture for our dream house. Tim is mugged and killed for his Rolex and wallet. I just cannot live in the house where we plan to live the rest of our lives, so I sell it. After collecting on his $1 million insurance policy, I leave the state. You and I can live a long time on that amount of money." They dress, and he goes back to the job site. She locks the trailer and leaves. I guess she is on her way home. I cut the computer off. So her plan is to have me killed, then run off with her lover and live happily ever after? Not going to happen. She is home before me and running a bath. She meets me at the door with a big kiss. I hope she brushed her teeth. Then she gets in the tub. I am wondering what is going on as I sit and watch the evening news. When she is finished with her bath, she comes into the living room and sits on the floor in front of my chair. She starts telling me how she can't wait until the house is finished and she can go off the pill. We are going to have 4 kids, and she is going to be such a good wife and mother. I am supposed to just wait and see, in her words. Sorry, ain't going to happen. After we finished, I took a shower as she prepared us supper. I slept a worried sleep that night. Thursday morning, I went to work and she went to the farm. I watched off and on all day, but there was no fooling around. She left at about 1 p.m. and Sam worked until almost dark. She was home when I got there. That night she wanted to make love, and I thought, why not? The next morning I went shopping for some of the things I would need that weekend. Saturday I was off work. No trading on the weekends. No one was working at the house, and Nan had an appointment to get her hair and nails done. This would give me time. By 1 in the afternoon, I was back at the condo watching a ball game when Nan walked in. She looked beautiful. I told her we should go out to supper and dance tonight. She loved the idea, so at about 7 p.m. we dressed, and I took her to the Vapors Supper Club out by the airport. We had steaks and then danced until about midnight. When we got home, she attacked me and we made love until the wee hours of the morning. Sunday was a late breakfast, then us laying around watching football. Her favorite team lost. A sign of things to come? Monday morning, I kissed her goodbye and went to the office. She went to the house and I watched as she entered the trailer. It looked like she was arraigning contracts in order to pay them. At about 10:30 a.m., she went to the house. I saw her enter and watched for her to leave. In an hour, she was back at the trailer. She fixed herself a tuna sandwich and just waited, looking out the window at the house. What is on her mind? At 2 p.m., Sam walks in and he walks over to her and takes her in his arms. I missed you this weekend. You look amazing. I love your nail color and your hair is so pretty. Thank you, and I missed you too. I can't wait until we can be together all the time. Just a little longer. I want us to have the perfect alibi. Then when your next job comes up, we will both work together. I love that idea. We will have a great time. You designing and me doing the work. We will make the perfect team. And don't worry about us being blamed for his death. My guy is a professional from South Boston, part of the mafia up there. What did Shakespeare say about the best laid plans of mice and men? Get me to the bedroom. I am tired of faking it. She was faking. I thought so. He picks her up and they go into the bedroom. I give them time. I watch as they undress each other. As he enters her, she hears a cell phone ring and a worried look crosses her face. Whose phone is that? Is forming on her lips as the cameras go blank. It was almost an hour later that I got the call. There was an accident at the job site, and I should get there as soon as possible. I asked to talk to my wife and was told she was not available. That's the damn truth. I arrived about 30 minutes later. I am met by the volunteer fire chief. He introduces himself and starts to tell me what he thinks happened. I ask about my wife. He says for me to walk with him to the ambulance. She is not there. An attendant tells me to sit down. Then I am told she is dead. I try to cry, but I can't. The tears just won't come. So I started to demand to know what happened. The chief, who I think works at the bank, tells me they believe it was a faulty gas heater. Since this was the first cool day and with all the rain lately, they probably lit the heater to stay warm. Something happened, and a spark of some sort set it off. The sheriff and the county coroner are on the way. I notified them when I found the bodies. You keep saying they and bodies. Who was with her? I asked. We know it is your wife, and we believe the other person is the general contractor, Sam Billings. This is hard for me to tell you, but you should hear it now. We found them together in bed, naked. They were engaged in making love. He is on top, and they are still... Demand, there is no easy way to say this. They are melted together. He is still glued to your wife. The coroner is going to have his hands full trying to separate them. I put my face in my hands to keep him from seeing me laugh. That lying, cheating woman! I scream at the top of my lungs. I can't believe she would do this to me. This is our dream, and she is cheating with the contractor. About that time, the sheriff and a black hearse drive up. I stay seated in the ambulance, but the fire chief runs over and starts talking. I heard him tell them that I was pretty upset until I found out what was going on in the trailer. Now I am just mad. They ask what he is talking about, and he explains how they found the bodies. The sheriff is trying hard not to laugh. The coroner, who is an older man and a doctor at a small clinic in town, asks to see the bodies. The sheriff and a young deputy follow the fire chief and the coroner into the burnt-out trailer. In seconds, the deputy is back, throwing up his lunch in the front yard. The coroner goes to the hearse and brings back 2 body bags. He passes me and shakes his head. I'll do my best to separate them, but it may be easier to take them back to my office. They are really stuck together. I'll contact you sometime tomorrow about claiming her body. You can throw that cheating woman in the dump for all I care. Do not call me. He walked back into the trailer. Just about that time, another car drives up. Out jumps a woman in some type of fireman's uniform. She walks over to me and asks who I am. I told her I was the owner of this property, and my wife and her lover were killed in the fire. I guess I said this with venom in my voice. So I take it you did not know about the lover? Not even a hint, I replied. I am with State Fire Investigator's Office. These volunteer fire departments do not have the funds to train an investigator, so I handle this part of the state. I'll need to talk to you tomorrow after I finish my investigation, so where can I find you? I'll be at my office until about 4 p.m. After that, you can reach me on my cell phone. I hand her my card. What about the funeral arrangements? She asked. I will not be making any arrangements for that cheating woman. Maybe her mom and dad will want her, but not me. The coroner said they were melted together and he was going to try and separate them at his office. Well, forget that. They want to be together. Bury them together. Then we watched as they carried one body bag to the hearse. The deputy had the other in his hand, so I guess both were in the same bag. The ambulance, the hearse, the sheriff, and all the volunteer firemen left. I watched as the woman fire investigator entered the trailer and began her investigation. She is not going to find anything. That was what I was thinking. The next afternoon, I parked my car in front of the house and looked around. One thing was certain. Nan and her lover had done a great job. It was almost finished, and its beauty was back. Now what am I going to do with it? I was walking around downstairs when this cute little red-headed girl walked in. I asked if I can help her. You don't know me, but I am one of the subcontractors. My father and I own a paper and painting company. We are getting the walls ready to start papering the downstairs later this week. You are going to complete the job, right? Of course he is going to finish this place. It is beautiful, and it will be even prettier when it is all landscaped and the garage and stables are finished. I turned to see that woman fire investigator walking in the door. She walks directly over to the redhead and kisses her on the mouth. Okay, lesbians. Lesbians. I have no problem with that. Who cares what somebody does in their bedroom, not me? I thought I saw your truck pull up. I guess this is as good a time as any to have this talk. Let's find a place to sit. We go into the kitchen and find a table where the workers eat lunch. First, I need to spend some of your money. She takes out her cell phone and looks for a number, then calls. Buck. Yeah, Sandy here. Listen, can you get over to that old antebellum house off 78 early in the morning? Of course. I want you to bring your backhoe. There was a trailer fire yesterday, and I have finished my investigation. I overheard the owner saying he wanted that off his property, and I told him it would be too hard and costly to haul off. He decided to dig a big hole and just bury it. I told him I knew just the guy for the job. I want you to dig a big hole off to the right. Remember the right? The septic system is on the left. Then push everything in the hole and cover it up like it was never there. Sure, 7 a.m. is fine. Just see Lori and she will handle getting you paid. Thanks. Remember the right side. Okay, bye. Now she looks across the table directly into my eyes. I, or we, I should say, don't want any sheriff or deputy snooping around and finding what I found now, do we? I guess not, was all I could manage. I see you have met my partner. She is an excellent painter and paper hanger. I am sure you will appreciate her work. With that, the redhead reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. What the hell is going on? Captain Tim Jones, 8 years in the Marine Corps, EOD unit commander. Hell, you taught at the EOD school in Yuma, Arizona. Then you trained those Nigerians in Africa. I know you were even a special consultant to the CIA, teaching classes on bomb making, and you gave it up for that cheating woman. Bad mistake on your part, but good for us. Oh, before I forget, if I did not know what to look for, I would not have found it. So good work. About now, you are wondering how I know so much about you and your wife, right? Yes, and to be honest, I am a little worried about just what is going on here, I replied. Don't be worried. You can handle it. Let's start at the beginning. A year or so ago, I went to a conference of fire investigators. I met a former Marine there, and we got to talking over lunch. He was EOD, and he had a lot of stories. But the one that stuck with me was about his captain, a man named Tim Jones. He said this guy was the best. He talked about how this captain was such a good teacher. He had taught at the EOD school and even at a CIA training facility. This guy could make a bomb that was almost undetectable, and he used things that you would never suspect. A year later, Lori is explaining how a Tim Jones and his wife are refurbishing an old house, and she is going to do the painting and papering. I wondered if it could be the same guy who was in the Marine Corps. I checked you out and found you were the Tim Jones in the stories. Lori told me how she suspected your wife and Billings was having an affair. She had seen them leave the job site to pick out materials. She thought they were gone too long. Then they started spending way too much time in the trailer alone. When I heard about the fire, I figured you had caught them. Tim. Okay, so you know all about me. I killed 2 people yesterday. So what do you want? Money? Do you want me to sign over the title to this house? What exactly? Sandy. Don't be so crude. Lori and I talked it over last night. What we want is kids. We are lesbians, but we want to be moms. We decided you would be a good father. And this house. What a great place to raise kids. So I get you both pregnant and give you the house. For that, you keep my secret, I asked. Oh no, much more than that. We are not going to raise our kids without a father figure. Let me explain. Okay. You got rid of a cheating woman and her lover. We have no problem with that. Lori and I are lesbians, but we are still in the closet. Nobody knows, not even her dad. Everyone thinks we are just friends. She has her job and I have mine. We are hardly ever seen in public together. We do not go out drinking or even to dinner together. We are never affectionate in public. Do either of us look like a lesbian? No, in fact, you are both very pretty. Sorry, I did not mean to imply lesbians are ugly, just that both of you are pretty. Again, Lori squeezes my arm. I notice she has beautiful green eyes. But back to Sandy. She caught me looking into Lori's eyes, I am sure. She does have pretty eyes. Don't worry, I won't be the jealous type. Our plan is that we all move into this house when it is finished. We share a bedroom and a bed. We announce to the world that we are a trio. No more sneaking around for us, and you get both of us. We raise the kids as normally as possible. You know, with them having 2 moms and 1 daddy, but how hard can that be? What do you say? First, I want to tell you that you have beautiful blue eyes, and I think only a fool would say no to this plan of yours. Any man would be lucky to get either of you but both, every night in the same bed. How do you suppose we start this and not raise red flags? I mean, I cannot go from losing my wife, no matter that she was cheating one day, to living with 2 beautiful girls the next day. Sandy. I told you this guy was smart. Our idea is you start spending more time out here at the house, supervising its completion. You meet Lori, you talk to her dad about her and show some interest. You find out she has a friend and invites us both to dinner one night. Things progress slowly over the next 6 months. I mean, the folks around here will know how hurt you are. They will think it good for you to be getting out. Then one day we all move in together and start our family. Some will not like the idea of a trio, but who cares? Sound like a good plan to you? Yes, it did. I did not attend the funeral and let it be known that I had no idea she was cheating. Her parents apologized to me a number of times. It was not their fault, and I never treated them badly. Lori, Sandy, and I started to go to dinner together, then to the movies. The first night I walked them to the door of Sandy's apartment, they stepped inside and Lori grabbed me and kissed me on the mouth using plenty of tongue. When we broke apart, Sandy did the same. Then Sandy grabbed Lori and kissed her while I watched. Think about all the fun we are going to have when we all 3 live together. Now good night, and drive safe. I was pushed out the door. I got that a lot over the next few months. I never even got to feel a body. It was always, wait until we move in. So I waited. When the house was ready to move into, they helped pick out the furniture. A month after I moved in, Sandy gave up the lease on her apartment, and Lori told her dad she was moving in with me. It was a Friday, and we had been unpacking their boxes all afternoon. It was now summertime, so we were all a little sweaty and tired. Sandy suggested a shower, and I started to walk out of the bedroom to give them some privacy. Where do you think you're going? Get undressed and get in. That shower is big enough for all of us. That was the first time I saw either of them naked. And what a sight it was. We plan on living the rest of our lives together, always trusting that our secrets are safe. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.